For the first time since the pandemic started, Sharp Memorial Hospital is letting cameras inside the emergency department. It's where some of our county's sickest coronavirus patients are being treated. Thank you for joining us for the nightly check-in. I'm Catherine Garcia.
So did we start the antibiotics yet?
We're just getting them in right now.
Okay.
So these are the front lines of a pandemic. About 40 patients there are positive or suspected of having COVID-19 right now. Dr. Russell Reinbold will treat many of them, and he has a fascinating story himself. Just 1 month before coronavirus hit America, Dr. Reinbold was in the Yukon of Canada running a 300-mile race at 46 degrees below zero. He is a 54-year-old ultra-marathoner who practices running from San Diego to LA once a month. Well, now he's in the middle of a new race, arguably the toughest one yet.
I think hope is on the way. So I would encourage people to be patient, continue doing all the right things, and we'll get through all this.
Dr. Reinbold says it seems his patient load is plateauing and he's seeing fewer of the really sick patients, but he still believes people 60 and older and people with underlying health conditions, especially related to the lungs, should be very cautious. So here are the latest numbers in San Diego County. County leaders say there were 3,572 tests conducted with 233 new positive tests in the last day. In all, there are now 4,662 total cases of coronavirus here. 4 more deaths were reported today as well. That brings the total deaths to 169. A lot of San Diego retailers were able to reopen today under the Phase 2 guidelines set by the governor, at least for curbside delivery, and it couldn't have come at a better time considering April was the worst unemployment rate we've seen since the Great Depression at 14.7%. That is more than 20 million Americans out of a job. Some of the industries most impacted are tourism, hospitality, and retail. Mail ballots for the November election will be sent to all registered voters in California. The governor signed an executive order today saying he wants to make sure everybody has access to vote. All return postage will be prepaid. In-person voting places will still be open with modifications. The governor warned we still need to stay vigilant with social distancing and follow public health orders.
I extend caution to other families that think, well, we got this, this is behind us. It's sadly and tragically not. Close to 2,000 more tested positive in the last 24 hours. 81 people lost their lives.
The governor will talk more about the next phase of reopening on Tuesday. That's when he's expected to address guidelines for dining in restaurants. A new at-home test for diagnosing the coronavirus is now available. It uses your saliva. The FDA has granted an emergency use authorization for this saliva test developed by Rutgers University. The university received that authorization for the test last month, but it was used at testing sites. But now people will be able to open the test kit, spit into a tube basically, and then mail it back to the lab. Millions of Americans have been transitioning to remote work life, of course, since the pandemic started. And now there's new technology that can allow bosses to spy on you when you're working from home. Some employers are using software like Hubstaff to keep tabs on workers. Bosses can track everything from your GPS coordinates to which websites you're visiting. Kind of draws a fine line between managing productivity and creepy surveillance, some say.
The question for employees is how much power they're willing to allow these companies to have over them when they're not in the office.
More major employers, including Nationwide and Barclays, say they're working on a permanent shift to working from home and reducing office spaces. It's been pretty decent weather outside. Let's check in with Dagmar for your first alert weekend forecast.
Okay, you're in for a gorgeous Saturday. Temperatures have continued to cool off nicely. We're not looking at any of the watches, warnings, or advisories regarding the heat that we were through the work week. So the coast, you'll see partly cloudy skies, mid-70s. Inland valleys, also partly cloudy, mid-80s. Everybody partly cloudy because of some higher clouds streaming through the region. Mountains, but the upper 70s, and the deserts, the low 100s. So we are looking at a really gorgeous Saturday. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies, and the temperatures are cooling off nicely.
The Big Bay boom is a bust, and you remember what happened in 2012? Obviously not that mistake, but the annual 4th of July fireworks show has been canceled because of coronavirus. Organizers say they had to cancel because of the current state health restrictions. There's a little bit of good news though. You can celebrate virtually. They're putting some plans in the works for a Big Bay Boom TV special featuring fireworks shows from years past. Well, it's been great, of course, to see so many step up to help others during these times. Today, we're highlighting a local healthcare worker making a difference on the job and for her neighbors. Lisa Spano works at Scripps Mercy Hospital and is 6 months pregnant. Despite her chaotic schedule, Lisa still really wanted to help her neighbors, so she came up with an alley pantry. She got the idea from those little libraries that people set up outside their home where you can take or leave a book. Same concept, but with food.
Basically, like the idea that the community supports the community, and actually my ultimate hope is that this inspires other people to do the same thing or set up their own little unique situation based on what they have access to.
How cool is that? Well, that alley pantry is right off of El Cajon Boulevard and 68th Street. It's in an alley behind Mohawk Street, basically right there between La Mesa and San Diego, and she says everybody is welcome to use it. That's going to do it for our nightly check-in. Before we sign off, if you're a Padres fan, check out the On Fire podcast with Darnay Tripp and Derek Togerson. They have a new episode out about the wave of prospects the team is looking for. Have a good night.